Hello again. It's that time of year where we show you another behind the scenes of another great film. This time we go to BTSCOURTsorrythatitslike7mins Studios to see the magic that is Shove It Up Yeah. So, get yourself comfortable, make a cup of tea, grab some bickies, because we're going to be here for a while. Cheers. We begin our story's journey by starting off in the Manchester Museum, where we had a task of finding some key elements that would inspire us in our filmmaking study. I liked the look of a horse skull, which was labelled Billy, and that was it. There was no other information about it. It had also been displayed in the back of the museum with not much lighting and nothing surrounding it. It reminded me of how women's identities can be stripped. I really wanted to do something that provoked that idea, but I couldn't quite get it down to terms that the others were happy with. We then visited the futuristic side of the museum, and one of us was talking about skateboarding. I don't know how it came up, but it did. And then I guess hoverboarding came into it, and that's the key link for the museum inside of our film. When I was designing the authority, the actual line art was supposed to be very rigid. It wasn't supposed to be scratchy at all. I changed my mind due to doing some tests, and I thought, actually, it looks more animalistic when it's scratchier. Police obviously are like uniformed, and that's what I was going with when I was thinking of having that straight edge line art. But having that scratchy look, and because the eye is so piercing, it did give off like unhinged vibes, and it was like, oh, you don't know what it's going to do. It just fitted too well to not follow it. But in order to face justice, we have to be willing to stand up for what's right and say something. I was in charge of making like concepts for the city, and the background and the bad guy, like the authority. Jesse was in charge of designing the two main characters, and Jack was on 3D backgrounds. Originally it was very cut. We all had an idea what we were doing. I was doing mainly 2D and 3D. Jack was doing 3D, and then Jesse was doing 2D only. And then as we got further into it, I think me and Jack decided to blend a bit more into each other. So Jack started doing 3D animating for the hoverboard, but 2D animation as well. Also, the backgrounds, we both took turns in designing. Because he was using Blender, I was using Maya. We had to make sure it was on the right file setting. I think my main inspiration when it came to the city was definitely Batman. It has such a beautiful, simple, and yet powerful, brooding look about it in the city. Like, I think as well, because it's something I grew up on, it's something that stands out to me more, and I care about it more. And I just wanted the film to look really awesome. The first issue was a lack of a clear animatic, which set us up for treading on one another's toes with scenes. With that came a fair amount of misunderstanding and miscommunication, like me animating the skater in scenes like 15 to 18 and 19 to 20. Another issue we faced was not sticking to the schedule. The last few weeks of schedule went out of the window due to unfinished module work. Another issue I faced was entirely my own demise. With scene 15 to 18, I had animated it on the wrong setting, which caused the render time to be obscene. This also caused a massive spanner in the works, as I had to end up redoing that entire scene. Some of the feedback that we received was that our animatic was quite confusing. Joe's feedback in particular, he wanted us to cut the train scenes because they slowed the pace. He also wanted us to include the people more, just because he said that it felt like they come up out of nowhere, because they do just appear in the last scene in the animatic. To address this, we cut down some of the train scenes, but we didn't fully because we really liked the train idea. we also wanted to address adding more people in. We do intend to continue this project post-deadline in time for the collab showcase. We want to animate extra context scenes, like, for example, the skater stumbling into the train, and also a person fixing up a juxtaposing sign at the beginning, which will establish more of the city people. Overall, I think we collaborated quite well. My teammates have great mindsets, especially with the deadline not being the end goal. This provided me a fair amount of relief, as I tend to be quite intense and sometimes obsessive about deadlines and such. Towards the end, Jessie also helped to pick up a lot of work, which made me feel more at ease within myself and also my teammates. The bonding that we have done over the 3 months has been very special to me, as I think it also was to them. Our idea started off from a networking event that we went to find potential initial ideas, which pushed me and Jessie and Jack out of our comfort zones by talking to new people and listening to what they had to say. Their constant help with quick feedback or problem solving made the project so much easier and more enjoyable. I have learnt a lot over this project, particularly that I don't have to drain myself over a deadline. As nice as it would have been to have finished on time, I can acknowledge that I've had some major personal things happen during this project that have thrown me off my usual organisation. I can sit back now though, and I can say that it's okay to take a moment to deal with life and not always prioritise the work.